Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay. A Korean romantic comedy from 2006 that was directed by Park Chan-wook and stars Im Su-jeong, also known as Su-jeong Lim in the United States, and a Korean singer-actor named Rain. And as you might expect, given the director, this is one of the most outlandish romantic comedies in existence. The film takes place mostly in a mental institution filled with an eclectic menagerie of patients. Now, Young-goon, a young woman working in a factory constructing radios, who believes that she's a cyborg, is our main character. And she's institutionalized after cutting her wrist and connecting it with a power cord in a wall outlet in an attempt to recharge herself, which is interpreted as an attempt of suicide, which technically wasn't true, but kind of is. So her delusions are basically characterized by refusing to eat. Instead of eating, she licks batteries and attempts to administer electric shocks to herself to keep her energy level up because she thinks she's a cyborg. And then she's conversing with machines, electrical appliances, listening to her little radio for like instructions on how to be a better cyborg. Like, this girl's out there in left field, all right? And then we have our male lead, Il-soon, who is a young male patient hospitalized for antisocial behavior and kleptomania, stemming from schizophrenia. He's described as having no sympathy for his fellow man, believes he can steal other people's souls and attributes, and frequently wears handmade rabbit masks. So these are our two leads. So I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay depicts the romantic shenanigans between these two lovable people. Now that's your movie. So you got to be ready for this before you go into it. The opening 10 minutes kind of gives you an accurate depiction of what you get for the rest of the film. You know, we get a bizarre assembly line workplace sequence, and it's intercut with an awkward interview with our protagonist's mother and a psychiatrist. Kind of a very engaging and stylish pre-title sequence. Kind of sets the stage for this deliciously nutty ride, I guess you could say. Now, since this is set in a mental institution, most of the characters are mentally unhinged. Fortunately, the storyline is quite detailed in its building relationships between these different characters and even their delusions. There's parallels and connections between their delusions. So these people really believe that they have these weird abilities and can trade or steal them from one another. And at times it kind of feels like children who are playing some really weird mind games. It really does. So someone will be like, okay, I'm going to steal your ability to walk backwards now. Now I can walk backwards and now you can't. Stuff like that. And they occasionally get angry with each other, if they steal something that they don't want to be stolen. So the script is surprisingly thought-provoking, too. And it demands the viewer pay close attention to the many details in this. So it's not just crazy stuff happening. There is some good script writing here. There are some neat hallucinations and some oddball moments, as you might expect. The showstopper, my favorite scene in the film, which is kind of controversial, I think, is when our female lead loses her sympathy, and when that happens. It's a scene that's pretty demented, and you'll never see a scene like that in an American romantic comedy, I can guarantee you. And, oh yeah, I need to remind you, this is a romantic comedy. Thankfully, it is funny and gradually becomes more romantic as it progresses. It seems like only a comedy at first, but the romance gets infused as it moves along. There's some romantic moments in this. There's a kissing scene that's actually really kind of cute and endearing. There's a scene where the male lead repairs our cyborg girl by opening the secret door on her back and repairing her. Again, it's like something little kids would be doing. There's an aspect of emotional healing in the film as well, kind of like a theme that I really liked. And the film does have a slight edge to it, but the movie definitely has its heart in the right place, so it's quite charming. Now, Im Su-jeong gives a fantastic performance. A role like this is quite difficult, but she nails it. She's just a great actress. Still to this day, she could be my favorite Korean actress. And surprisingly, this pop star or music star Rain comes in here, the male lead, and he gives a commendable performance as well. So he does a good job. He began his career as a singer, of course, but his transition to this film was quite nice. So good job on his part. Cinematography, use of color is good. There's like a fantasy feel at times to this, which I liked. And remember, this was directed by Park Chan-wook, the director of Old Boy and The Handmaiden, and etc. So we're going to get a well-crafted film with a healthy dose of eccentricity, I guess you could say. And Park knows that this premise has the ability to create some really creative moments, and he does a good job of exploring those moments and infusing some weirdness into this rom-com subgenre. So when all is said and done, we're left with a very unique experience here. It's a very weird and kind of wild romantic comedy, unlike any other that I've seen. I strongly recommend it. I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay. Check it out. It's available on physical media. I'm not sure if there's a streaming option available, but get it any way you can. And as always, I will see you next time.